Setting the stage. A new romance in the shadows of the past. Under the golden haze of Los Angeles, a new love story begins to unfold. One that promises hope but threatens to be overshadowed by a ghost from the past. Will Spencer, son of the powerful Bill Spencer, has always lived in the glow and shadow of his family's name. With charm inherited from his father and a rebellious streak of his own, Will recently returned to the B&B canvas as a grown young man, played by Crew Morrow. He's ambitious, romantic, and hungry to forge his own path outside the Spencer legacy. Then came Electra Forrester, the enchanting daughter of the Forrester fashion dynasty, portrayed by the radiant Linnea Grace. A model, artist, and creative mind, Electra is not just beautiful, she's driven by emotion, idealism, and a longing to escape the cold business transactions of her world. She sees in Will what few do, says, not a billionaire heir, but a soul worth fighting for. Their romance didn't ignite instantly. It simmered through stolen glances across boardroom meetings and lingering conversations at fashion galas. Slowly but surely, passion blossomed, the kind of slow burn that promises a lifetime, but only if both are willing to risk everything. Yet just as their hands finally met in the dark, a name echoed between them, Luna Nozawa. Luna, portrayed with grace and mystery by Lisa Yamada, was more than just a memory. She was Will's complicated past, wrapped in a tragedy that never truly felt complete. Her supposed death, declared by her controlling mother Lee Finnegan, sent ripples through the entire community. Lee's announcement was cold, factual, and oddly unverified. Many believed it without question, but some didn't, and Will, he never really let go. Still, Will has tried to move forward. He wants a clean slate, and with Electra it seemed possible. They've shared long nights talking about dreams and futures, not ghosts and regrets. Electra has brought laughter back into his life, pulling him out of the fog of grief. For a while, it seemed like the past had finally released him. And Electra. She sees Will as her anchor. While the Forresters drift in endless cycles of couture, betrayal, and press conferences, Will is the one person who treats her like a person, not a brand. With him, she can be vulnerable. She can be real. But just beneath the surface, something stirs. Because the past, especially on the bold and the beautiful, has a habit of crashing into the present. And Luna, whether truly gone or not, still lingers in the shadows of their budding relationship. Every glance, every whisper, every late-night silence threatens to bring her name back into their hearts. Will and Electra may want a fresh start, but can love ever be built on haunted ground? Luna's ghost, truth lies, and lingering shadows. The Forrester estate has seen its share of secrets, but none quite like this. When Lee Finnegan, usually composed and clinical in her demeanor, stood before her family and calmly declared that her daughter Luna Nozawa had passed away during a recovery, the room froze. No tears, no ceremony, just a brief explanation, a supposed accident, and the quiet closing of a chapter that had barely begun. Lee's words were final, and many, perhaps too many, chose to accept them. Maybe it was the pain, maybe it was exhaustion, maybe it was easier to believe than to question. But the bold and the beautiful doesn't bury its secrets so easily, and Luna's death has never quite felt real. For starters, there was no funeral, no obituary, no confirmed reports. A few murmurs surfaced, a closed casket cremation, a private ceremony out of state. But even those whispers were inconsistent, quickly hushed by Lee's glare and the firm reminder that Luna is gone, let her rest. Will Spencer didn't buy it. Not entirely. In his heart, something never aligned. Luna was young, healthy, and in recovery. She had dreams of rebuilding her life, of taking back her narrative. Why would she suddenly vanish without a trace? Why was Lee, her own mother, so unemotional? Then came the dreams. First, just echoes, Luna's laugh in the wind, her perfume in the hallway. Then stronger, Will began waking in a sweat, hearing her voice calling his name. At first he thought it was guilt. After all, he had kissed Luna one last time before letting go. But what if it was more than guilt? What if Luna was still out there? Lee, meanwhile, grew more defensive. Every time Electra asked about Luna, Lee's tone hardened. There's nothing to talk about. She's gone. Let it go. The coldness chilled Electra to the bone. But Electra, sharp and intuitive, noticed something strange. A text message on Lee's phone, deleted too quickly. A medical folder on her desk with Luna's initials, dated after the supposed death. And most hauntingly, a half-used bottle of Luna's prescription in Lee's purse. What if Luna didn't die? What if Lee faked her death? Was it to protect her daughter from someone or something? Was Luna in danger, or was it control, pure and simple? We've seen how far Lee will go to keep Luna on the right path. But faking her death, even for Lee, that would be crossing a line that could shake the Forrester and Spencer families to their core. As tension rises, Will is torn. He wants to move on with Electra, but he can't deny the signs. And Electra, she's starting to feel Luna's presence too, in her dreams, in her insecurities. In every moment she reaches for Will, only to wonder, is his heart already taken by a ghost? The most dangerous secrets are the ones wrapped in silence. And Lee may be keeping the darkest secret of all. Because if Luna is still alive, her return will change everything. The kiss that changed everything. It was supposed to be just a cover, just another step in a risky operation to extract the truth. But on that fateful night, when Will Spencer leaned in and pressed his lips against Luna Nozawa's, everything changed. It didn't matter that they were surrounded by danger. It didn't matter that Electra Forrester was waiting for him back home. In that moment, brief, charged, unforgettable, Will felt something he couldn't explain. Was it nostalgia? Was it guilt? Or was it a flicker of something still alive? Something he thought he'd buried long ago? Whatever it was, Electra saw it. She wasn't there in person, but the moment that kiss became public knowledge, the hurt on her face said everything. Her world didn't crumble in an instant. It cracked quietly, dangerously. The kind of pain that doesn't scream, but simmers. And what made it worse? Will didn't tell her first. He was forced to confess after the operation wrapped up, after Luna disappeared again, after the headlines whispered just enough to make Electra doubt everything. "You kissed her?" she asked one night, her voice trembling. "It meant nothing," Will said. "It wasn't real." "But it happened," Electra whispered. "You touched her. You chose to." And so began the unraveling. Electra had always struggled with vulnerability. Raised in the Forrester spotlight, she was taught to smile through heartbreak and pose through betrayal. But with Will, she let her guard down. She dared to believe in something genuine, and now that belief was shattered. It didn't help that their intimacy had always been slow to build. While Will had tried to move things forward, dinners, weekends away, subtle gestures of affection, Electra kept pulling back. She wasn't ready. She told herself she needed time, but deep down she feared being hurt. She feared giving too much, only to lose it all. And now, Luna's ghost was making that fear real. In her mind, Electra replayed the scene 100 times. Will's hands on Luna's waist, his eyes searching hers, the kiss, the connection. Every time she tried to reach for Will, physically, emotionally, Luna was there. Not in the room, but in the bed, in the silence, in the space between them. Electra tried to suppress it. She told herself to move on. After all, Will chose her, didn't he? He was here now. He said it meant nothing. But her heart wasn't so easily convinced. She started to question everything. Every compliment, every kiss, every time Will looked distracted. Is he thinking about her? Meanwhile, Will faced his own battle. He wanted to reassure Electra, to pull her close and make her believe. But every time she flinched, he felt the weight of his mistake. And worse, sometimes in the quietest hours of the night, he saw Luna too. In his dreams, in reflections, in the space Electra used to fill. This wasn't just a love triangle. This was a haunting, a memory that refused to die. That kiss, it didn't just betray Electra. It opened a door to the past. And once opened, some doors never close again. A haunted romance. Passion meets fear. Passion was never supposed to be this difficult. For Will and Electra, desire came naturally. Intense eye contact, soft whispers in the dark, shared laughter that hinted at something deeper. But every time they reached the edge of something real, something physical, something pulled them back. And now that something had a name, Luna. After the kiss, after the confession, Electra had tried to be strong. She told herself she could move forward, that Will's heart belonged to her now. She even made the decision, one she had delayed for months, to finally let Will into her bed. It was a big step for her, a moment of surrender, vulnerability, trust. But just as their bodies intertwined and lips met, Electra froze. In her mind, she wasn't the one Will was holding. She could see it. Luna's face tilted back in laughter, Luna's eyes gazing up, Luna's voice whispering his name. It wasn't real, and yet it felt so real that Electra physically pulled away. "I'm sorry," she whispered, wrapping a robe around her shoulders, avoiding his eyes. I can't." Will didn't press. He understood more than she realized, because he was haunted too. Sometimes in the quiet of the night, he would close his eyes beside Electra and feel Luna's presence beside him instead. It wasn't lust. It wasn't love. It was grief, raw and unprocessed. Luna had never said goodbye. She had vanished, like smoke, and now part of him wondered, was she really gone? The mind is a powerful thing, and grief, it's a shapeshifter. Sometimes Luna appeared to him in dreams, reaching out with trembling fingers calling him by name. Sometimes it was a scent in the hallway, or a soft knock on the door that vanished when opened. He told himself it was stress, trauma, but deep down a voice whispered, "She's still here." And Lisa Yamada's portrayal of Luna, even in absence, remains chillingly effective. A subtle glance in a dream, a silhouette in the mirror, it's enough to send shivers down viewers' spines. Because in this world, the dead don't always stay buried. Electra, for her part, is beginning to spiral. She starts to question everything about herself. Was she enough? Did Will settle? Is she just a substitute, a placeholder until Luna walks through the door again? She finds herself checking Will's phone when he showers, rereading old text threads, Googling Luna's name late at night to see if any rumors surface. And when she sleeps, her dreams twist cruelly. She sees Will making love to Luna, whispering promises meant for her, and she wakes up screaming. But there's no Luna, just Will, confused, reaching out. "I'm here," he says. "It's me." But in her heart, she isn't so sure anymore. And as the couple teeters on the edge of emotional collapse, one thing becomes clear. This isn't a ghost story. It's a love story under siege. A romance trapped in the shadows of a woman who may be gone, but is far from forgotten. And if Luna isn't really dead, then the real haunting hasn't even begun. Will's breakdown. Is love enough? At first it was just a crack in his voice. Then came the sleepless nights, the cold sweats, the moments when Will Spencer would stare at his own reflection and whisper Luna's name without realizing it. On the outside, Will was doing everything right. He was committed to Electra. He brought her coffee in the mornings, kissed her forehead goodnight, and sat beside her at board meetings like the devoted boyfriend everyone expected him to be. But inside, Will was crumbling. The pressure of pretending everything was fine, while his mind was caught in a maze of what-ifs and maybes, became too much. His body was with Electra, but his heart, it was trapped somewhere between grief and guilt. He blamed himself. If he hadn't gone through with that operation, if he hadn't kissed Luna that night, if he had fought harder to see her body, to verify the truth, he might have saved her. Or maybe she never needed saving. Maybe she was still out there. That thought haunted him more than the dreams. Because if Luna was alive, hidden somewhere by lie, or worse, by someone trying to silence her, then Will had failed her in the most unforgivable way. And his instincts told him he wasn't wrong. It began with a message, anonymous, just a single line. "She's not gone." No number, no trace, just the words. Then came the photo slipped under his office door late at night. Grainy, low-res, but unmistakable. A woman walking through a crowded Tokyo marketplace, head turned slightly, hair blowing in the wind. It looked like Luna. Will stared at the image for hours, the posture, the earrings, the scar near her wrist. A scar only he would know. He showed Electra. Her response was cautious. You want it to be her. But Will knew. Something in his gut screamed it. And with every passing day, his obsession grew. He began canceling meetings, ignoring calls, missing dinners with Electra. Instead, he spent nights scrolling through surveillance feeds, foreign social media, any database that might contain a clue. He started drinking more, talking to himself, seeing Luna in every stranger's face. At one point, Ridge Forrester pulled him aside. "You need to let the dead rest," Ridge warned, "or you'll lose the living." But Will couldn't stop. He was consumed by the idea that Luna was crying out to him, begging to be found. Meanwhile, Electra watched the man she loved drift away. She knew what was happening. She could feel it. Luna had taken root again, and this time, not even death could uproot her. But what could she do? She tried reason, love, even anger. But Will's eyes always returned to that photo. One night, Electra found him curled up on the floor, clutching Luna's old bracelet. "She's not dead," he whispered through tears. "I can feel her." And maybe he was right. Because back at the Finnegan residence, behind locked doors and drawn curtains, Lee was on a phone call. Her voice low, her expression grim. "Yes," she said, "he suspects something. We have to move her again." The return of Luna. Alive, a ghost, or a memory. The truth was never meant to stay buried. As storm clouds gather over Los Angeles, the bold and the beautiful prepares for the kind of explosive twist that changes everything. The name Luna Nozawa no longer echoes in whispers. It roars in the silence between Will and Electra, between reality and delusion, between love and betrayal. Because Luna might be gone, but what if she's not? The signs become impossible to ignore. Lee Finnegan begins to unravel. Her confident facade starts to crack during a boardroom scene at the hospital. She snaps at interns, forgets patient names, and clutches her phone with shaking hands. Brooke Logan, ever the observer, starts asking questions. "You're hiding something, Lee. What did you do?" And then Luna appears. Not in the flesh, not yet, but in ways that feel too real to be imagined. Electra wakes in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat. A woman stood over the bed, she swears, whispering, watching. Her perfume, the exact blend Luna wore, lingers in the room for hours. Will doesn't believe her, until it happens to him too. At Forrester Creations, he steps into the elevator, only to find it occupied by a woman in a long coat, hair cascading down her back. The resemblance is haunting. He blinks, and she's gone. Even RJ, known for his steady mind, mentioned seeing a woman who looked just like Luna outside Il Giardino. Is it grief playing tricks on them? Or is someone sending a message? Back at the Forrester estate, Eric receives a letter. No return address. Inside, a sketch. A design only Luna could have drawn. Her signature swirl on the sleeve. The fabric, the silhouette. It's her. But how? Then comes the real shock. Steffi tracks the sender using private security. The letter was mailed from inside California, not Tokyo, not Seoul. Luna, if alive, is close, watching, waiting. And Will, he begins to lose control. His breakdown deepens as he's pulled between two women, one beside him, the other behind a veil of mystery. Electra sees it. She feels it every time his gaze drifts, every time his lips say, "I love you," but his eyes don't match. "Tell me the truth," she finally demands. "If Luna walked through that door right now, would you leave with her?" Will can't answer, because even he doesn't know. And then, one night, at the edge of the ocean, in a scene straight out of a Gothic novel, Will stands on the cliffs, haunted by his memories. A figure appears behind him, silhouetted in the moonlight, hair whipping in the wind. "Will," she says. He turns. His breath catches. "Luna." But is it truly her, or a hallucination born of obsession? We don't know yet, because the bold and the beautiful thrives in suspense. What we do know is this: if Luna is alive, someone helped her vanish. If she's a ghost, she's not at peace. And if she's just a figment of Will's guilt, then the damage has already been done. Because whether alive, dead, or imagined, Luna has already destroyed the fragile world Will and Electra tried to build. Final thoughts. Love never dies, but it haunts. In the weeks ahead, The Bold and the Beautiful promises high-stakes drama, shocking reveals, and emotional devastation. Will and Electra's love hangs by a thread. Luna's fate remains uncertain, and Lee Finnegan's secrets are about to come crashing down. One truth will emerge from the wreckage. Some ghosts don't rest until they get what they want. Thank you for joining us on this haunting journey through The Bold and the Beautiful. If you love intense drama, psychological twists, and heart-wrenching romance, stay tuned, because the story of Will, Electra, and Luna is only just beginning. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more B&B spoilers, theories, and deep dives. Until next time, hello and goodbye.